Good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning to you, too. Hi. My name is Devin Alley, and I am a member of the board here at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. On behalf of the board and the program council, it is my honor to welcome you here this morning. As we enter this space today, know that you are surrounded by the love of this community where all are welcome. Whoever you are, wherever you are from, and wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time here, or your 101st time, if you are here in the building, or if you are watching online, you are welcome here. Let's take a minute to wave at the camera in the back and let our online folks know that we are with them and we care about them. If you would like more information on our church, please fill out the visitor card in the pocket in front of you, or you can visit our website, TVUUC.org, and select Stay in Touch. If you are interested in religious exploration classes for your children, or adult RE for yourself here at TVUUC, please visit the RE hallway after the service. You go through the double doors, past the kitchen, and you can speak to an RE leader at that time. Most of you will be going through those double doors today during the service, which will be really exciting. You can also find more information on our website or at the RE welcome table in the gallery. If you need any accessibility aids during the service, such as a large print hymnal, hearing device, noise-canceling headphones, those can be found on a cart near the welcome table in the lobby. Our ushers will be glad to show you the way to that, collect one for you if you need it. Our ushers can also provide guidance around the building if you are a newer visitor, and if you need any help locating the restrooms, exits, or any other areas of our building, the ushers can help you with that. If you are visiting us with small children, we invite you to sit up front if you would like, where it is easier for the little ones to see what is going on, but please don't feel like you need to keep them still. All are welcome here, and we understand that silence is never completely silent. You should also feel free to change seats anytime during the service if you need to move closer or even just stretch your legs. If you or your children need to step out of the sanctuary for a moment, we do have the E.E. Cummings room. It's a glass-enclosed room at the back of the sanctuary where you can still see and hear the service. We do have a few announcements this morning. Our annual pledge campaign is still underway. Many have already pledged, and some have increased their giving to help meet rising costs, and we thank you so much for that. We hope that all members and friends will make a pledge to support next year's operating fund. Every gift strengthens this community and makes what we do possible. We do have a testimonial this morning. MJ Aiken, I believe, will be providing a testimonial. So you may go ahead and come up.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Fowler. I'm Jane's spouse, and I'm reading this for Jane, or you may know her as MJ, but these are her words. I joined TVUUC 8 years ago. I was relatively new to living with multiple sclerosis and its negative impacts on almost every system of the body. Each day is different. No matter how I plan, something arises that must be addressed. I loved physical activities before MS, running, hiking, scuba diving, water skiing. Seeing the rainbow in the water spray from a ski was a wonderful blessing. I can still see that rainbow. I am now more scared to step onto or down from a curb than I ever was jumping over a small tree to rappel down a cliff. While learning to live with this progressive disease, I thought about terminating my life. I thought and thought how to be 100% successful with no mess for another person to clean up. I thought about different ways. Each scenario had a glitch. Then, no, I thought back to high school, where we learned that self-termination, suicide, is totally selfish, the most selfish thing a person can do. Now that Jennifer is in my life, she would really kill me if I did such a thing. Now my goal is to stop looking back, but to move forward. Just last week, we returned from a smooth jazz cruise. We saw, heard, and interacted with the musicians, such as Kenny G, Boney James, Brian Culbertson. Awesome music, a music high. Jennifer and I were married here at TVUUC. TVUUC and the choir family have encouraged me with acceptance, kindness, caring, and compassion, and without judgment. TVUUC and Jennifer, with her patience, determination, deep love, saved my life. Because of TVUUC, I am attempting to sing in the choir. I really love alto. As I move from soprano to alto, I bug Sue and Carolyn with my questions. They are so helpful as I try something new to me, singing alto. After choir practice, Carolyn and Paul would drive me home. On the first trip home, they walked me to the door. With my first step up on the curb, I collapsed. Carolyn was on one side and Paul on the other. All was well, thanks to them. TVUUC family sends joy and love. In spite of my flaws and imperfections, along with my disability, I am determined to give back to TVUUC and the choir in any way I can. Thank you, TVUUC and choir. I am humbled and blessed.
Thank you so much for that beautiful and moving testimonial. Really appreciate it. We have a few other announcements. You are welcome to join members and friends of TVUUC for our spring retreat, March 13th through 15th at the Mountain in Highlands, North Carolina. Enjoy meals, games, puzzles, s'mores, and activities for all ages. The registration deadline is on February 27th. More details can be found on the Mountain's website, but also today I did see Natalie in the hallway, so as you are leaving, you will see her on the right. You're welcome to speak with her about this as well. She has a lovely dog who loves pets, so you may want to also do that. The Knox County Democratic Party is hosting a winter wish list drive with the Tennessee Valley Coalition for the Homeless to gather essential cold weather items for unhoused neighbors. TVUUC has been invited to serve as a public drop-off site, and donations can be placed in the black bin by the front door in the lobby. These announcements and others can be found in the back of your order of service and in our weekly email newsletter. Today is a designated offering Sunday. Our designated offering supports the American Civil Liberties Union, helping advance the protection of civil liberties and the defense of fundamental rights in our communities. To give, please go to TVUUC's website and click Give Now in the drop-down menu. After the service, please join us for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall. If you are visiting and would like a tour of the building or have questions about our church, look for me there and I'll be glad to chat and show you around. If you have questions about the path to membership, I'll be happy to introduce you to our prospective member coordinator, Mark Mahundro. And now, if you have not already done so, please silence any electronic devices as we enter worship together.
Welcome to a different kind of Sunday morning experience here this morning, our flipped service, as we are calling it. I am Catherine Farmer Loya, Director of Religious Education here. And as you can see, we've begun worship together as usual, but when we sing our recessional after the story in a little while, it is the grown-ups today who will be invited to head out and down the hall for adult religious exploration experiences this morning, while the kids and youth and a few volunteers with us will occupy the sanctuary for the rest of the morning. And you'll notice, too, that a few elements of our service that usually happen a little later on have been pulled forward so that we're all together for them. And we invite you to join us in the spirit of exploration and openness as we try out church this way, this time, inviting many of our adults to experience Sunday morning in a way that's a little bit similar, perhaps, to what our young people experience every week, and giving our beloved young people the chance to make the sanctuary their own in a way that they don't always have opportunity to. So I want to take just a moment as we begin to share some logistics. At the end of the story this morning, I think some of you may have already received a card, but if you have not, at each door on the way out, we've got folks who are going to be handing out cards. You can see they're being held up there. It's a little, about the size of an index card. And it's going to tell you which room to go to for your toe dip adult experience this morning. We have 9 different spaces. The card has a colorful dot on it and a map of our building and a line that shows you exactly where to go. And when you get down the hall, there will be somebody standing by each door with a big sign that has the big dot, that color, on it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to figure out where to go. And don't worry, those of you who are watching the service online today are not being left out. Due to technological magic this morning, you're also going to have an adult RE Tobic dip experience as part of the service stream this morning. We are excited to shake things up a little bit this morning, celebrating the many, many ways to learn and grow in community, and inviting each of us to explore in a way that might be a little different than what we're used to. But don't worry, we will be back to normal next week. But for today, I invite you into the experience and into reflection about the ways possibilities sometimes open up for us that we didn't expect when we experience the world at a slightly different angle than we're used to. So I hope we will all have fun together today, and I thank you for indulging us in this experiment this morning. Yes. Yes, so like our young people at the end of our RE time, our religious exploration time, if your family is okay staying a little longer, you are welcome to go out and play on the playground too. Yes. All right, come let us worship together.
Good morning. My name is David Massey. I'm a member of the spiritual care team here at the church. Check out the back page of your program to learn more about the services offered by the spiritual care team. After the service today, after the upside down service today, please make your way to the caring table in the fellowship hall to sign cards for those in need of our good wishes. This is the time in our service when we share joys and concerns in the congregation. Mike Madonna has been in the hospital since February the 11th, being treated for inflammation, lung, and kidney issues related to the chemotherapy and immunotherapy he is receiving for esophageal cancer. Mike's wife, Jane Rapparelli, says she greatly appreciates all the support and love they have received from their TVUUC family. Bill Cherry has learned that his younger brother Andy has been diagnosed with liver cancer. Bill plans to drive down to Alabama tomorrow to be with Andy for his first meeting with the oncologist. Ori and Sarah Weaver are not in church this morning because they're on their way to Smithville, Tennessee. Sarah's beloved grandfather, W.J. Dub White, died Friday night at home in Smithville at the age of 90. The receiving of friends is this afternoon, and the funeral service is tomorrow. Reese Graham, daughter of Rebecca and Mark Graham, is receiving help in a mental health facility. Please keep the family in your prayers. After a 29-day stay in a Charlotte, North Carolina hospital for a bone marrow transplant, Angelina Carpenter continues her recovery in the home of a dear friend in Charlotte. I still have a long journey, she texted last week, but expect a full recovery. My spirits were down while in the hospital, but are lifting now as energy returns and I can be in the outdoors a bit. Angelina is thankful for the love and support she has received from her friends in Knoxville. When she opened a recent card from this congregation, she says, "My spirits were lifted as I read the names of individuals I've cared for so much." Because of her leukemia, Angelina has not been able to work for many months. Look for the Joys and Concerns section in the next newsletter to find out how you could help financially. Back in 2024, Bob Mashburn was diagnosed with liver cancer, which his doctors zapped with radioactive pellets. Unfortunately, by the time of that treatment, the cancer had already escaped into his lungs. Bob went through several immunotherapy treatments to address the metastasis, followed recently by a full-body PET scan. Last week, Bob and his wife Jenna met with his doctor to learn the results of that scan. Jenna said the doctor walked into the examination room grinning from ear to ear. The immunotherapy was successful, and Bob does not have to go back to the oncologist for another 3 months. Last week, Carol Villaverde's mother, Sharon Chapman, accompanied Carol's husband Patrick, and their son Owen to Owen's youth hockey tournament in Jacksonville, Florida, but the trip did not end well for the family. Carol's mom happened to be seated in the bleachers right in the path of an intoxicated fan intent on assaulting someone else. Patrick was able to shield Sharon from more serious injury, but she still ended up in the ER with 16 stitches to close a 4-inch gap in her leg and a large hematoma in the other leg. Sharon is now back home in Iowa, where she is recovering. Not the way we wanted to end this hockey season, Carol said, but she is grateful that her mother received no further injuries. Lillian Mashburn continues to recover from a nasty break in her femur late last year. She has graduated from occupational therapy, continues to make progress with her physical therapy. Meanwhile, she would love to have visitors give her a call. Miriam Davis, who has been suffering from gallstone pancreatitis since New Year's Day, had her gallbladder removed last week. The laparoscopic and robotic surgery was successful, and she is resting and recovering as comfortably as possible. And finally, Holly Cannon and Scott Sisk, along with River and Piper and Ellie, are beyond excited to share that baby boy Sterling arrived at 9:49 p.m. Thursday, weighing 6 pounds and 11 ounces. Welcome to the world, Sterling Cannon Sisk. For all of these joys and concerns, as well as those held in privacy or that are unknown to us, let us join together in singing, Sending You Light. The words are printed in your order of service.
We'll be singing Circle of Song, and the words are in the order of service, I think. You'll join us on the chorus, which we'll start with. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one Some sing of their dreams, of a new day in the sun. Some sing out for love, and some sing just for fun. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Some sing of this land, of the country of their birth. Some sing of this land, of the beauty of the earth. Some sing of this land, for all that it is worth. In the circle of song, we are one. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. Each of us must leave this place and go back to our home. Each of us must walk a path that must be walked alone. Each of us must bear the fruit of the seeds that we have sown. In the circle of song, we are one. Yes, last time. Come join with me in the circle of song, the young and the old, the weak and the strong, singing with one voice, though we may speak different tongues. In the circle of song, we are one. In the circle of song, we are one. One more time. In the circle of song, we are one.
Good morning. It is good to be gathered today in the ways that we gather here in person as well as watching from elsewhere. And to get us into the spirit of our experience today, perhaps I have a story to share, and it's adapted from one written by Jason Carter Eaton, and it begins with a cat. A cattywampus cat who walked into town early one day on a Tuesday. And at first, nobody noticed the cat because the people in the town were pretty busy. Is anybody here ever busy? Tick, tick, tick went the town just like clockwork. Talk, talk, talk went its people. It was just like this every day, even on Tuesdays. The first person to notice the cat was a grocer who looked at the cat and then kind of tilted his head. And then his wife, who he'd been arguing with that morning and who had been annoyed with him for a long time, said, "What are you looking at?" And then she tilted her head too. And he said, "What's with that cat?" And she said, "I don't really know. Maybe it's hurt, or maybe it's curious, or maybe it just noticed something." And so the grocer and his wife both tilted their heads looking at the cattywampus cat for a little while, and then they noticed something of their own, sparkling under the bottom of one of the shelves in their store. "Oh," said the grocer's wife, "my wedding ring. That's been missing for months. I knew I didn't lose it." Maybe she did actually lose it, right? But only for a little while. As she bent down to pick up the ring, the grocer looked at her and said, "You know, from this angle, "You look exactly the way you did the day I met you." They hugged each other, and the cattywampus cat continued through town. The next person to notice the cat was the weary town barber, who was cutting a woman's hair in a long bob, and she'd had her hair exactly the same way for just about forever. As he saw the cat, he kind of tilted too, and as he was snipping, oh no, he cut at an angle. He held his breath as the woman looked up in the mirror, and she said, "I love it!" And the cattywampus cat continued through town. Then the cat crossed paths with a painter who was painting the mayor's house. The mayor had a very big house, and the painter was kind of bored. The painter thought, "Oh, what a dull, uninteresting job this is," as he was painting the bottom part of the house. And then the cattywampus cat walked by in its cattywampus way, and he watched the cat, and he kind of tilted too, and he didn't realize as he was painting that so was what he was painting. And then he looked up and he noticed, oh my gosh, there's a big diagonal stripe on the mayor's house. Oh no. Just then the mayor arrived, and the mayor said, "What has happened? It is a work of art. A diagonal stripe on my house. It's brilliant." Then the town librarian looked out the window of the library as she was pulling books from the shelves and saw the cattywampus cat walk by, and what do you think she did? She kind of tilted too as she watched the cat, and she accidentally pulled the wrong book off the shelf and noticed it and thought, how to build a boat. Now, the librarian loved being a librarian, but she was pretty tired, and she needed a little bit of a break, and she'd always wanted to go on adventures. Well, she saw this book, and she thought, oh. So she took a leave of absence from her work and set off for adventure. The cat continued through the town, and as the cat did, things started happening. It was like a chain reaction. And before long, people were rebuilding their houses to be tilted. And all the cars were off kilter. And things changed all over the place. People found things they thought had been lost forever. People reconnected with people they thought they'd never connect with again. And pretty soon they decided they needed a special day to honor the cattywampus cat. So the mayor decided that the first Tuesday of every year would be Cattywampus Cat Day. So the people all gathered together in the town square, and they threw confetti at an angle on their uneven stage, and the off-key band went oompa, oompa, and the mayor got up on the stage and welcomed the cattywampus cat as the cattywampus cat walked up to the stage and looked around. And the mayor said, "Well, what do you think? We are all different now, just like you." And the cattywampus cat blinked twice, slowly, and then stretched out and straightened up and walked out of town. Cattywampus in its own particular way again. And that is our story for this morning. So as we experiencing things at a little bit of a different angle, may we bring the spirit of the cattywampus cat in with us. And now, we can talk in a little bit, okay? So now we're going to sing the grownups out. And again, if you do not have a card, one will be handed to you on the way out. And I'm going to invite the kids and youth and helpers who are staying to maybe come forward and join us up here in the front as we sing our adult recessional today. Thank you. And those who are watching the stream, in a few minutes, before long, you should be finding yourself in another experience as well. Thank you. I've created a little bit of a traffic jam for our people who are heading out. So we're going to chat a little bit here, those who are staying, while we're waiting for everybody to have their assignments for down the hall. And yeah, welcome. So those of us who are here today, how many of us feel like we've been in the sanctuary a lot before? How many of us have spent a lot of time in this room? Yeah? How many of us feel like we haven't been here very much before? Yeah. Well, we're going to get to experience it a little bit way today. So even if you've been here a lot, I don't know that you've been in all the parts of the sanctuary a lot. We're going to do a little bit of exploring, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our day. So we're going to start out all together here, and we're going to have a chance to talk with Chris, our minister, a little bit. After we talk with Chris for a little while, we're going to split into 3 groups, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24. That's perfect. So we'll have about 8 in each group. And when we do, we're going to split into 3 groups, and we're going to explore some parts of the sanctuary. We're going to have a chance to try out the pulpit and walk around and see what's behind this wall here. And we're going to get to try out ringing the bell that we hear sometimes. One group is going to do that. One group is going to get to light and extinguish the chalice. And one group is going to get to see the room that's behind the curtains and see some of the things back there. But don't worry, because every group is going to rotate. So each group's going to get to do all those things, but it'll help us to have a little bit of a smaller collection of folks doing that. And then we're going to come back together in one group, and David and some of our musicians are going to lead us. You're going to have a chance to try out the organ. Has anyone here ever played the organ? Yeah? You played a piano. You're going to get to try out the organ, and you're going to get to be the choir. We're going to get to be the choir for a little bit, too. And then we're going to have a closing song, and we have some closing words that people who would like to choose some closing words and share them are going to have a chance to also, all right? But we're going to start with Chris. So would you like to introduce yourself to our group?
So I'm Chris Buice. I'm the minister of the congregation, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. I know Catherine has some questions if no one can think of any questions.
So if you have a question for Chris that you have thought of, you can ask a question. Everybody would like to choose a question. I've got some questions we might ask Chris here.
We have one question here.
This doesn't involve church, but I just want to know. Are you reading any books?
Yes, I am reading books. I'm reading Jane Austen's Emma right now, and I'm also reading the biography of Stevie Nicks, who played the Fleetwood Mac. So, okay.
Does anyone have a dog here? Does anyone have a dog here?
Yes, we do. We have more than one dog here today. So, okay. So that's a good question. This church was founded in 1949. That's right. And it used to meet in a house
Here, relatively smoothly. I'm really glad you have joined us today. And this is going to be your opportunity to participate in a way in what we are doing today, to be part of everything that's happening. Those watching the stream are not being left out of the flipped service experience. So you are also going to have an opportunity to experience church in a way this morning that maybe is a little bit more similar to what our young people often experience than what most of our adults do. Those who are not volunteers in the program typically have a Sunday morning experience where you were in the sanctuary for the service for the full time, whereas our young people often have worship together in the sanctuary for just a part of our time together and then move into another space in our building where we have opportunities to engage in different kinds of being together in community focused around learning and exploring and growing and being of service and thinking about who we are and what's important to us. And all of these different things are things that I think people of all ages are looking for as part of our experience of being in community together and in being in religious community together here. And so I invite you to enter into a spirit of curiosity and exploration today as we have our topsy-turvy, little bit different kind of service experience for folks today. So just as those adults who are here in person today at TVUUC have been invited to go down the hall to our religious exploration spaces, we are also going to travel. And so in a few moments, you are going to find yourself through the magic of video in one of our rooms down the hallway in our building, in one of our learning spaces. And you will have an opportunity to be in your own one of our 9 adult religious exploration spaces for this morning. And so I will see you down there in just a moment. Welcome. Each of our adult religious exploration spaces today will begin with these gathering words adapted from Mary Ann Cotter. Welcome to this place of possibility. This is love's hearth, the home of hope, a refuge for minds in search of truth unfolding, ever beautiful, ever strange. Here, compassion is our shelter, freedom our protection from the storms of bigotry and hate. In this place, may we find comfort and courage. Here, may our sight become vision to see the unseen, to glimpse the good that is yet to be. So, you may be wondering at this point why all the focus on this thing we keep calling adult RE, or adult religious exploration. What does that mean, and what does it have to do with me? Why should that matter to me? Isn't religious exploration just what the kids do on Sunday mornings? Well, Connie Goodbread is a Unitarian Universalist religious educator who consults with congregations around healthy systems and transformation. And Connie says, faith development is all we do. Unitarian Universalism is the faith we teach. The congregation is the curriculum. Connie's words remind us that faith development is not just for our children. In fact, it is a thread woven through all of our activities, all that we do as a community. But what does the word faith mean to you? You know, sometimes when we use religious language and vocabulary, we need to make sure we're actually talking about the same thing and not understanding the words in very different ways. So defining the words we're using can help make sure that we have that common understanding of what we're really saying. And so I want to talk a little bit about the word faith and share with you what I mean when I use that word. I understand faith to mean that in which we place our trust. Faith to me is, at heart, a trust that who we are and what we do matters. And so a person of faith is one who makes a commitment to living in a way that reflects that trust and is grounded in one's own and or community shared values and commitments. So there's no specific belief that one must hold in order to be a person of faith. Rather, faith is an act of living with integrity and purpose. And perhaps more specifically, within Unitarian Universalism, faith development is the development of a way of life informed by our UU values and committed to living them out in the world. And what that looks like can be very different from person to person. But when I talk about faith development, that is what I'm talking about. Now, UU religious educator Joy Berry has created a really powerful metaphor for faith development that in itself is an expansion of a framework created by developmental psychologist James Fowler. And in Joy's work, she expands upon Fowler's stages of faith. Now, Fowler uses lots of words to describe his stages of faith formation, but this graphic offers a handy rhyming shorthand that is often used. So, in stage 1, according to Fowler, faith is caught. This is early childhood. Faith is not a thought-out set of ideas, but instead a set of impressions that are gained from parents or other significant adults in young children's lives. In stage 2, typically in middle childhood, now that is where we talk about faith being taught. And so you might think about traditional Sunday school aligning with this idea of teaching of faith. At this stage, children's source of religious authority starts to expand past parents and caregivers to others in their community, like teachers and friends. So faith is something to be experienced and learned, And kids are learning what their roles are and are beginning to learn about fact and myth. Stage 3 faith, which most people enter into during adolescence, is when faith is bought. So personal opinions gain a lot of importance, and these young people often grapple with buy-in to the faith of their family and their friends. And so there are elements of questioning and resisting in stage 3 where we're looking at buying into faith traditions. Next, in stage 4, faith is sought. So this is where the seekers are, and many of us are in this stage. People are asking questions and discovering. We put a great deal of emphasis on what we think. People find and lose their place in a community of faith in stage 4, and this stage often starts in late adolescence. However, Robert Keeley points out that people of many generations experience the kind of dissonance that comes with the real questions of faith that one begins to address at this stage of development, along with questioning their own assumptions about their faith. People at this stage start to question the authority of structures of their faith. So this is often the time that someone might leave their religious community if the answers to questions that they are asking are not satisfying to them. And it is in this stage that people start to take greater ownership of their own faith journey. Now, Fowler has 2 more stages in his framework. Stage 5 is conjunctive faith, in which the questioning of stage 4 gives way to a more comfortable faith. Some answers have been found, and this stage, a person is comfortable knowing that you may not find all the answers, and the strong need for individual self-reflection may give way to a sense of the importance of community and faith development. People at this stage are also open to other people's faith perspectives, not because they're moving away from their own faith necessarily, but because they have a recognition that other people's faiths might inform and deepen their own. And then there is stage 6, universalizing faith, pointed out by Fowler as one in which people have, as he said, a special grace that makes them seem more lucid, more simple, and yet somehow more fully human than the rest of us. Examples of these people might be people like Gandhi or Thich Nhat Hanh. But Joy Berry has something to say about this framework of Fowler's and offers something more for Unitarian Universalist communities to contemplate. So she says to us, James Fowler's classic faith stage theory centers I. It is now the individual's experience, perspective, and development. Fowler believed that individuals move through the stages of faith in a linear process, which may not map to our own understandings of our own journeys, right? It might, but it might not. So Fowler believes that people move through in a linear process and that most people never move beyond stage 4 to the rare stages 5 and 6. And yet Joy poses a question. Why would they be rare? What if Fowler missed something essential about how individual development always happens in the context of connection? That individuals do develop through stages of faith, but their capacity for faith development is affected by the ongoing shared work of people learning and growing together. So, Joy has created this framework where she talks about the collaborative work that is necessary for real deep faith development in the framework that she calls wrought faith. Joy says wrought faith centers we. It is not as focused on the individual. It is faith forged actively together in community. And wrought is an old word that means worked. It means something shaped, forged, changed, and strengthened through active work. Wrought iron is an alloy. It is a mix of metals. It's resilient and strong, yet it's malleable. It's meant to be shaped with tools in human hands. And its final form is determined by how it is worked. So when Joy is talking about wrought faith, she's talking about faith that is created together in community. Now, I suspect that one reason why you have come to TVUUC or why you are watching the stream today is because you are longing for something. You're looking for something. There's something that you are reaching toward. or something that you want to grow toward. And this brings me back to Connie Goodbread's assertion that the congregation is the curriculum. Now, if the congregation is the curriculum, that might beg the question, what does that actually look like? What does that mean? So in the last couple of years, a new framework has been developed within our association that I think reflects and gives some language for what we've been moving towards here at TVUUC for years. And it's being referred to as whole church religious education, or whole church RE. And this is something that gives a pedagogical foundation for understanding what it is that we do together as a community of faith that practices UU identity, community, and faith development, and especially our shared values in community with love at the center of what we do. And this framework recognizes 6 primary ways in which we engage in faith development together as a community. So it includes sacred stories. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Those are the words of one of our songs and one of our hymnals. We develop individual and shared UU identity and a sense of belonging in our faith community when we tell each other the stories of who we are and what we are for as Unitarian Universalists. And religious education in UU churches has often centered powerful practice of storytelling to teach about our history, our theology, our principles and sources, and now our shared values. But our sacred stories also include community ceremonies and rituals that collectively affirm our belonging and growth in a UU congregation. And I wonder, what are some of the sacred stories of TVUUC about who we are and who we've been and where we are headed? The second is faithful conversations. Our congregational theology has always depended on small groups discussing and discerning together. Conversations become religious education when we intentionally connect individuals and communities who aren't already in dialogue and equip those who are for deeper connection. So faithful conversations, but love at the center, developing opportunities for co-learning, especially across generations. And there, in those spaces, we practice using a language of reverence to engage our shared values, strengthening UU identity and community, and deepening our capacity for faithful living every day. So I wonder, what are some of the places where people experience faithful conversations at TVUUC? The third is creative contemplation. Contemplative practices quiet our minds, open our hearts, and connect us more deeply to our spiritual needs and each other. Now, the benefits of things like meditation and knitting are well researched, and whole church RE includes creative contemplation of similar sorts in lots of different ways for congregational faith development. So in worship or in classes or common spaces. And these are for all people of all ages, but are especially supportive for folks who are neurodivergent and for families. And so at TVUUC, this might include things like the reflection room Sunday morning space for kids, the soul work activities we have in the sanctuary available for everyone of all ages every Sunday, the needlework, mandalas, and also programs for adults that engage in spiritual practice such as sound baths, dance, and other kinds of gatherings. Now the next is community making. Making and crafting at church is really pretty common in kids' activities where learners align ideas with shared values, might build something together, and that is something that we do in lots of different ways across our church community, though. So anytime humans work to create together, the practice forges and strengthens bonds of relationship and trust. That is something essential for UU Covenant. And there are opportunities at TVUUC for folks of all ages to roll up our sleeves and build things together, build things that are real, whether making something physical in a conventional sense or more broadly. And so I'd like to suggest that things like the Little Free Pantry and the Children's Diversity and Justice Library are 2 examples of this in a broader sense at our community. So how are we connecting for shared making and creating in community? And how, in turn, is that making our community stronger? The next is public witness. So prophetic witness of our UU values in the public square requires a couple of things. It requires a shared theological grounding and shared accountability to it. So who are we in public? Public witness activities and resources help you use name, claim, and proclaim our values together and deepen shared identity and theology. And they offer ways to learn and share about Unitarian Universalism as a living faith, practicing justice making and making meaningful connections within and beyond the congregational community with love at the center. And our church has been active in forms of public witness in many different ways. So I wonder, what are some that you have connected with or would like to? And finally, joyful connections. Joy and play create space for vulnerability, for creativity, belonging, and transformation. You might have heard people talking about building the beloved community, and the place where that begins is when we are together in community in our congregation. So in RE spaces for children and youth, we have fun, we feast, we laugh, we move, we play together, not because children learn and grow in these ways, but because humans do. So connections are serious faith development. They heal and galvanize us for faithful work within, among, and beyond our congregation, and engage all kinds of values that are important to us and are powerful antidotes to lots of different forms of oppression. Joy builds our collective capacity for resilience and resistance and authentic community. So where might you have found or seek to find joyful connection at TVUUC? The very best of what we do here in our religious exploration programs is to give tools and inspiration and encouragement to people in our community, young and older, to do the hard work of figuring out who we are now and who we are becoming and what we are called to do in the world. And that's why I'm here. That's why I've chosen to spend my professional life doing this work of walking with this community to nurture and inspire growth and learning. It's because I know that I am better here, and my family is too. I know that I won't ever feel complacent or finished here. I know that I live with more integrity and authenticity when I am reminded every week, every day, that more is possible and more is expected of me. I once heard an articulation of our universalist heritage that took deep root in me, and it is this: that universalism tells us that we are held by love that will not let us go, love that will not let us down, and love that will not let us off. And it is the last bit of that that takes my breath away. What does that kind of universalist faith look like in action? I think it maybe looks like one in which we are called again and again to learn more, to examine ourselves and our tender places where we might have built walls that are not serving us and are not serving our development or our faith. So, what is it that you need in order to feel at home enough in this community to do the hardest personal work that you know in the deepest part of yourself that you long to do? What do you need to make it more possible for yourself? And what do we need to do as a community to make it possible for you to do it here with us? Because that is what religious communities are for, to give us tools and provisions and company for doing the hard spiritual work of personal deepening, and to give us a place to come together in the work of bringing love and justice to this hurting world. So, this particular toe dip into reflection about what place religious exploration holds for us as adults is rather less interactive than when we gather in person, as a video is one directional rather than relational. But I do hope that it has sparked something of value for you in reflecting on your own faith development and our TVUUC community's development. I'd like to invite all who would like, as we close together, if you are watching in a space that has comments possible, I invite you to share in the comments one thing that you're going to carry with you out of your experience today of this different kind of Sunday morning here at the Tennessee Valley UU Church, as I share closing words from Infleshed. There is no me without you. We shape one another. The sacred that birthed us weaves our lives together so that we can only find ourselves through shared becoming. Thank you for joining us today. Go in peace. Next Sunday, we will return to a more familiar format for our time. Thank you.
Thank you.